Today's painting is a fun one. This challenge that I wanted to do definitely challenged me in my abilities and made me very uncomfortable in a good way. I usually don't do more realistic type of aspects or drawings within it, and I wanted to challenge myself and kind of tackle that fear of failure and see if I can do more realistic aspects that are intentional. So as you can see, I'm painting over my old painting that I made very abstract. And yes, this is the 5th time I'm painting over this one. And I'm motivated to make this the final time I paint it over. So I thought it would be a fun way to get some ideas and different aspects to challenge myself to try and paint within it would be to ask people on social media what random things they can think of that I should add to the painting. I like this because it kind of makes me choose different things than I usually would and different shapes and aspects than what I'm used to. One of the first comments was a lonely ghost, so I thought that'd be a good one to start off. And the whole premise of this challenge is to make these more realistic type of paintings and aspects within it, but also keep my theme and see if I can rope it together and create a painting that has that abstract doodle theme, but with more attempt and effort to make these more realistic and actually challenge myself to take more time into each detail. So I have the little ghost done, and I thought I want a big face in the painting, and I can do some aspects within it and around it. So one of the second comments there is a duck. So I just did a duck, and as you see, it's not too bad, but I made a terrible mistake and for some reason thought it would look good if I did a dark blue in it, and it just washed out everything. So you'll see over time I do kind of bring it back together and add a lot of stuff around it and in it to make it better, but right now it's not looking too good. I might have to donate to a duck sanctuary just to apologize for how this one looked, because this is not good by any means. But we'll get back to that one. I am going to do a design around it, and I'm making this kind of the second eye in that big face and making a lot of the aspects around that kind of core shape. So this color was not working for me. It was a tough mix, and I decided I'm just going to layer and blend a bunch of paint over it because I did not like the way the yellow was looking. So I'm just going to put some of that on and add to that over time and try to bring it back together. I know I say this with a lot of my paintings, but I was definitely not feeling confident at this point. I thought this would be another one that I have to paint over, but I'm committed to putting a lot of time and energy into this one and pushing myself to actually make these more realistic aspects, still in my style, but get better at more of that realism and different things like getting the scales right. So I'm making a TV around the duck. I am just adding in this gray. It was a lot thicker than I thought it would be. It was kind of half dry, which was nice because it was covering, but it was hard to spread out. So I'm just adding more colors into that just so it's not just this plain gray. And so far, I'm not a fan. It's funny that most times, about a third of the way through my paintings, I can tell if it's going to be a good one or not. This one's gonna take a lot longer than my other ones, so it's too early to tell, but it does come around, and this is definitely a fun one. So this next part is a cool aspect that I would have never thought of. Someone commented a rhubarb wearing a fedora. I definitely had to Google what a rhubarb plant looks like, and just kind of wanted to give that nice texture of the green part of it. And I was definitely worried about doing the hat, because I find sometimes it's tough to have the right way it's kind of sitting, and not just sitting on top, but as if something or someone's wearing it. So I'm just filling in this part. Wanted to have the purple part of the rhubarb in through it, and I liked how it looked with the green. And then here's the hat. I never thought I'd be this nervous painting a fedora on a rhubarb, but here I am, and I'm actually happy with how it turned out. I'm gonna paint it over as well, so it kind of looks like it's sitting on it, but I like the way it looks, and this is where I finally was feeling good about this and thought I could definitely have these aspects pop and make a cool painting that looks different than my other ones. I found I was getting quite stale, and I would look at a painting I did and it looks like the last 5. So this one's a fun way to blend cool, kind of more doodle style with the abstract without it just kind of painting for the sake of it. So I really like how that one turned out, and I wanted to add some more colors and see kind of what spaces I'm working with. So I put in some of this burgundy because I thought it would look good against the brown. And I'm doing 2 coats for most of these, so I let it dry, then I go in and do another, just because I like having it fully covered. I don't like any parts of the canvas that are showing. So I'm just letting that dry, and someone else commented a piece of toast suntanning. Again, nothing I would ever think of doing on my own, and it's the perfect vibe for the doodle art style. So I'm super happy that people were giving me ideas like this, and I always like having it blended. So I kind of have an aspect, and then I want to link it. So I have this one kind of in a balloon. And then I thought I'm going to make 2 suns and have it a face, and then make a little landscape in it, just so it's not on its own. As I was filling in this part, I let my abstract part come out a little bit here, and thought of a way that I could mix some of these elements together. So I'm going in and just kind of planning out these, what are going to be roads. I've done this in the past with some of my paintings and haven't in a while, and it's kind of a cool way to bring the eyes to different parts of the painting, and also layer stuff over and see what roads are over or under, or what aspects are under the road. And I like that, and it kind of adds more of my style to it. So I'm just gonna let that first gray dry and continue this tanning toast. So I'm getting a better idea of where I want things to go. And I'm just gonna do kind of a basic landscape for this one. I haven't done any light blues, so I'm just putting in some greens in other parts of the painting. Then I'm gonna go in and put the light blue into the other part here. I really like how it looks, and probably just gonna use a little bit, but I feel like it pops well in comparison to the other darker colors. I did need something to fill this space, so I like the way that the green was looking. So I'm just making a little face, and then I'm gonna make a aspect that goes over it, so it's not just that. This is mainly just to blend some colors and make it look nice. And that burgundy was looking good with the green and the brown. So doing that just to keep some of the style that I want in the painting as I'm doing more of these elements that people are choosing. I wanted to do a black kind of bars that go down. We then have another color in there as well. And I like the look of that, especially if you have a dark color fill it in. So I go back to that later, and we'll probably be working on that for most of the painting. And I wanted to add something to this eye. So I was putting in some of that blue and have some green as well. I didn't want to have just one color for this area. I wanted to put in multiple ones. I find if you just have one, it limits the options of the colors that I can put beside it. So I wanted to section this one off into 3 different ones. Throughout this painting, I've been working on a few different parts at one time. A lot of it is just waiting for paint to dry, or then I do another part, wait for that to dry, and go back to the first one. So I'm still on this toast suntanning part, and just adding some clouds and more texture, just to give it more detail and more interesting to look at. And then I'm going through and adding some dotted lines on this road, just so it's not only gray. Then I wanted some drops out of that eye, so I'm working on those. Then just going through and adding some white to this green. I like the way the white and green go together, as well as the blue, so I don't need any complex elements for all of them. I'm just adding some stuff just to mainly add some colors where they go nicely together. I'm continuing to do some outlining. I wanted to make the black outlines thick and add some colors within it. I find sometimes I have them a little bit too thin and they all kind of blend together, which sometimes works, but for this one I want to have more of that larger outline feel, just so these shapes pop a little bit more in comparison, especially since I'm using so many different colors within it. So now I'm starting a new element to it. Someone commented a piece of cheese wearing a wizard hat. So this one I thought I'm gonna make into like a little cheese guy. I wanted to give him eyes and kind of bring it to life a little bit, so it's not just a random element or aspect there, just sitting. So I have a little border around it. I want to make this one bright. And I'm just going in and adding some other little details just to make sure that I'm not having it too dark. I want there to be light colors within the other parts of the painting, just so it doesn't look boring. Someone else commented to put a stick bug in it. So I just did a little white bug here. It looks good on the burgundy. And like I said, I'm just trying to make sure that there's not a lot of dark colors without any other color in it. And I find the white pops well on it. So just kind of filling in that one eye with some of these aspects and making sure that just there's no blank spaces. So now I'm going back to the little cheese guy and filling in the colors. I thought I would go with the purple for the hat, kind of go the classic wizard, and then I'm going to do the red. I'm trying to get a few more bright colors in here so the painting pops out more. I find I've been using a lot of dark colors and sometimes it all kind of gets washed out. So I'm filling in some dark colors and going to add kind of more of an abstract design in this. as I'm editing this, I realized that this is going to be a much longer painting than I thought it would be. So I'm going to have this as part 1 and probably do 2 or 3 parts to show this. I really want to take a lot of time on this painting and make sure it's detailed and not rushed at all. So this is how it's looking right now. I'm liking the way the colors are looking and how some of those aspects challenged me a little bit more to change up the feel of my paintings. And now I'm gonna go in and add the burgundy and greens just to give it more of that darker tones that I can put some brighter elements on. I haven't used light blue in a while, but I really like the contrast between the darker colors and the light blue. So I'll probably add a few more parts in there when there's other dark parts just to kind of break it up a little bit. Now I'm going and decided that I want to have more roads and highways on this. I think it'd be kind of a cool thing to kind of take the eyes to different parts of the painting. And I'm going in adding a few more than I planned to. And I like the gray that I'm using with this. It covers it nicely, and I'm not using gray in any of the other parts, so it actually is a good color to use to section off the painting. Yeah, I'm gonna end this video as the end of part 1, and probably gonna post part 2 pretty soon. But I really like how it's looking so far, and I've got a few more elements planned out for it. So thank you for watching part 1, and I'll probably post part 2 in a few days.